The rain lashed violently against the carved iron gates of Kensington Manor, the downpour thick and icy, blurring the luxurious gilded carvings that had stood for a century. The late autumn storm swept across the entire aristocratic manor district, tearing through the quiet, noble atmosphere that had always enveloped the Kensington family's private territory. I am Blair Kensington, the 18-year-old fake daughter who had occupied the real young lady's identity for 18 full years, the preset villainess of this rigid system script, and the ultimate breaker of the so-called fate-bound revenge storyline. I am a transmigrator. The moment I opened my eyes in this wealthy aristocratic family's luxurious bedroom, a cold, mechanical, and ruthless system bound my soul completely. The villain suppression system was activated instantly, issuing a lifelong mandatory mission that determined my entire fate. I must play the role of the vicious, jealous, domineering fake daughter, use all means to suppress the newly returned real daughter Lily Moore, humiliate her, wear down her spirit, crush her self-esteem, and force her into complete mental collapse until she loses all confidence, dignity, and courage to stand in the upper-class circle, completely yielding to my false identity and staying in the mud forever. The core supreme villain of this full text is no ordinary human rival, but the cold-blooded, mechanically rigid, fate-controlling villain suppression system. It is the source of all conflicts, the manipulator of the entire script, and the ultimate big villain I will completely crush and destroy in the climax of the story. It has no physical form, but it controls mission rules, releases punitive electric shocks, manipulates public opinion judgment, and tries to forcibly distort my character and behavior, forcing me to become a narrow-minded, vicious, and jealous villainess. Its core malice lies in its absolute instrumentalization of human nature. It treats both me and the real daughter Lily as pawns of the script, craving the dramatic effect of the weak being trampled, the collapse of kind-hearted characters, and the victory of vicious villains, ignoring all human warmth, growth, and rationality. This villain setting is completely original and non-repetitive, different from all human emotional villains in previous stories, with a unique dimensional crushing conflict. The original script was a standard cliché fake and real daughter abuse story. I was supposed to be an inferior, jealous fake daughter who feared losing my wealthy life, hated the real daughter's existence, and spared no effort to torture, suppress, and humiliate Lily. Lily was set as the miserable, weak, kind real daughter who suffered all kinds of bullying, endured humiliation, and finally counterattacked after collapsing completely, completing the so-called justice and fate return. But the moment I transmigrated and received the system's mission, I completely abandoned this stupid, rigid, and boring script. Jealousy is the most useless emotion in the world. Suppressing a kind and talented girl for no reason is the most boring and meaningless behavior. Since the system wants me to play the villainess and suppress Lily, wants to see her fall into the mud and collapse completely, then I will completely reverse its definition of suppression and humiliation. I will use the top-tier resources of the Kensington family that I have enjoyed for 18 years, use all the luxury privileges and noble channels in my hands to carry out the most high-end, top-level education and elite training for Lily. I will polish her temperament, shape her figure, elevate her vision, cultivate her ability, and raise her from a muddy, rustic, ordinary girl into a peerless top socialite who overwhelms the entire upper class. I won't let the rigid system watch helplessly as its suppression mission is completely reversed. Watch the miserable cannon fodder it wants to trample grow into a king-level existence. Watch its preset collapse script turn into a perfect growth counterattack. And finally collapse and self-destruct under my dimensionality reduction anti-routine operation. The heavy rain outside the manor gate showed no signs of stopping. Through the floor-to-ceiling glass windows of the luxurious living room, I could clearly see the thin figure standing alone in the rain. Lily Moore, the real biological daughter of the Kensington family who had just been found after 18 years of separation, stood silently outside the carved iron gate, drenched from head to toe. She wore a faded, washed white denim jacket that had long lost its color, the thin fabric completely soaked by the icy rainwater, clinging tightly to her slender, thin body. The cuffs of her sleeves were frayed and worn, and crystal raindrops kept dripping from the rough cuffs, hitting the smooth and flawless marble ground of the manor entrance, leaving tiny wet traces that looked particularly abrupt and out of place in this noble and luxurious manor. Inside the warm, fragrant living room, expensive velvet sofas, hand-carved classical furniture, top-tier crystal chandeliers, and precious oil paintings created an extremely luxurious and warm atmosphere. My adoptive mother Eleanor Kensington sat on the soft velvet sofa, her beautiful eyes red and swollen, her hands nervously tangled together, her face full of unease and fluster. She had raised me for 18 years and had long regarded me as her only daughter, but facing the newly returned biological daughter, she was full of guilt and trepidation, fearing that her unease and unfamiliarity would scare this child who had suffered 18 years of hardship outside. The head of the family, Richard Kensington, sat on the main sofa with a cold, gloomy expression. His deep eyes swept up and down Lily's thin, rustic figure outside the gate, his brows tightly furrowed, his face full of cold judgment and undisguised disgust. As a top aristocrat who valued family temperament and noble demeanor the most, he was extremely repelled by this rustic, thin, ordinary biological daughter who had grown up in a civilian environment. Everyone's eyes in the living room were focused on the real daughter Lily outside the rain curtain, full of pity, disgust, unease, and estrangement. And I, Blair Kensington, the fake daughter who had been spoiled and cherished for 18 years, sat steadily in the center of the sofa, wrapped in a soft, warm cashmere shawl worth tens of thousands of dollars, holding a bone china teacup filled with top-grade Earl Grey tea in my slender fingers, my posture elegant, calm, and unhurried. I am the well-deserved center of this luxurious manor, the carefully cultivated noble young lady of the Kensington family for 18 years. Today, I will take up my post on time, play the so-called vicious fake daughter Villainess perfectly in the system's eyes, and start my anti-routine suppression and elite cultivation plan. The cold, mechanical system prompt sounded abruptly in my mind, without any emotional fluctuation, sharp and rigid, echoing repeatedly. Dang! The first mandatory mission of the villain suppression system is officially released. Mission objective: trample the real daughter Lily Moore into the mud, impose extreme physical and mental humiliation on her, crush her self-esteem, make her feel inferior and humble, and initially shake her mental state. Mission requirement: let Lily experience the gap between clouds and mud, make her deeply aware of her humble identity, and generate strong inferiority and despair. Mission punishment: failure to complete the humiliation suppression mission will trigger level 3 electric shock punishment, deduct 1,000 system points, and lock the host's luxury resource privileges for 3 days. Facing the system's rigid and harsh mandatory mission, a faint, cold smile curled up at the corner of my mouth. I swirled the warm tea in the bone china cup, my eyes calm and casual, without the slightest panic or resistance. Since the system wants me to humiliate Lily and trample her into the mud, then I will use the most luxurious and high-end way to complete this so-called humiliation mission. I stood up slowly, my posture elegant and noble, walking steadily to the entrance of the living room, and personally ordered the housekeeper in a calm tone. Arrange a car immediately, take Lily to the city's top 5-star health and wellness resort, and book the most supreme top-level plant mud spa care package for her. Arrange the most professional private beautician, skin management expert, and body sculpting tutor for her full one-on-one exclusive service. The housekeeper was stunned on the spot, completely confused by my order. Everyone in the living room was also stunned. Eleanor looked at me in surprise, her eyes full of confusion. In her imagination, I, as the spoiled fake daughter who feared losing her status, should be jealous and make things difficult for Lily, mock her rusticity, and refuse to let her enjoy any noble treatment. No one expected that I would take the initiative to arrange the most top-tier luxury spa care for the newly returned rustic real daughter. The system's mechanical warning sounded immediately in my mind, with a hint of mechanical doubt and alertness. Warning: host behavior deviates from the mission script. The mission requires humiliating suppression, not resource cultivation. Please correct your behavior immediately and carry out extreme humiliation on the real daughter. I ignored the system's boring warning at all, turned my head to look at the drenched Lily standing outside the gate, and said in a cold, arrogant, villain-like tone that perfectly conformed to the system's villain setting, "Since you have returned to the Kensington family, don't go out with this rustic and shabby appearance to lose the family's face. Go take care of your skin and appearance first. This is the minimum requirement for staying in this manner." My tone was cold and domineering, with a hint of pretended disgust and arrogance, completely in line with the vicious and arrogant fake daughter character set by the system. In the system's judgment logic, this was me using family status and resources to put pressure on Lily, forcing her to accept arrangement in a humble state, which belonged to disguised status suppression and mental humiliation. The system's alarm paused temporarily, mistakenly judging my behavior as a high-end form of humiliation and suppression, and no longer issued an immediate punishment warning. Lily stood in the rain, her thin body trembling slightly, her long hair completely soaked, sticking to her pale and delicate cheeks. Her eyes were clear and timid, with a trace of unfamiliarity and unease towards this luxurious family, but no inferiority or resentment, She nodded gently, her voice soft and weak. "Thank you, sister." The black luxury Rolls-Royce drove out of the manor gate quickly, took Lily to the supreme 5-star wellness resort, and started the full set of top-level plant mud spa care I arranged. The resort's imported pure natural plant mud is specially customized for aristocratic socialites, containing dozens of rare plant essences and mineral nutrients, which can deeply repair skin damage, brighten skin tone, shape delicate facial lines, and improve overall temperament in one go. The whole day, Lily enjoyed the most professional private beauty service, from deep skin cleaning, essence import, plant mud film application, to body relaxation massage and temperament adjustment guidance. Every link was the top-tier luxury treatment that ordinary people could never touch in their lifetime. The system kept monitoring my behavior and my mind, waiting for Lily to produce inferior, humble, and negative emotions after receiving the so-called humiliation arrangement, waiting for her to feel the gap between poverty and wealth and fall into mental collapse. But the result completely exceeded all the system's rigid script predictions. The next morning, when Lily walked out of the luxury wellness resort, everyone was completely stunned. After a full set of top-level plant mud film care and professional temperament adjustment, all the rusticity and haze on her body were completely washed away. Her originally pale and dry skin became white, delicate, translucent, and glowing. Her facial features were three-dimensional and exquisite. Her eyebrows and eyes were clear and bright, and her whole person was radiant and dazzling. The 18 years of hardship and dust on her body were completely erased by top-tier resources. The unique elegance and nobility hidden in her bloodline were completely stimulated. Her whole body was fresh and elegant, with a pure and noble temperament, beautiful and dazzling, easily overwhelming all the young socialites who came to the resort for leisure, becoming the most eye-catching existence in the entire high-end resort. The system's mechanical voice exploded violently in my mind, with unprecedented mechanical panic and data disorder, the red warning light flashing frantically. Data error, script deviation, mission judgment failure. The real daughter did not produce inferiority and humiliation emotions. Instead, her temperament has been greatly improved, and her self-confidence has been enhanced. The host behavior is not suppression and humiliation, but high-end cultivation. Mission failure judgment pending. Please host immediately carry out remedial suppression measures. Force the real daughter to suffer extreme labor torture, exhaust her physically and mentally, crush her newly recovered self-confidence, and force her into a state of collapse. I listened to the system's frantic red warning and rigid remedial mission requirements, and the smile on my lips became more intense and cold. The system's new mandatory mission is very clear. Force Lily to do rough, heavy labor. Let her engage in high-intensity physical labor until she is exhausted and collapsed. Torture her body and spirit. Make her tired and embarrassed. Completely destroy her newly improved, elegant temperament, and make her fall into inferiority and despair again. It wants to see Lily covered in dust and sweat, embarrassed and flustered, collapsing in endless labor, thoroughly trampled into the mud. Then I will continue to reverse its mission logic in the most perfect way that conforms to the Villainess script. Without any hesitation, I picked up my mobile phone, logged into the top private high-end fitness club in the city, and used my supreme VIP identity to customize the highest level platinum VIP card exclusively for Lily. This club is a private training base exclusively for top aristocrats and celebrity stars, with the most professional international senior private trainers, top fitness equipment, and exclusive customized elite training courses. In the system's simple and rigid judgment logic, fitness training equals physical labor equals exhausting labor equals physical and mental torture suppression. It mistakenly believes that forcing Lily to exercise is making her do rough work, which can achieve the effect of physical exhaustion and mental blow. And I just took advantage of this rigid loophole of the system to carry out the second round of elite shaping and cultivation for Lily. I sent the customized top-tier fitness VIP card and a full set of limited edition luxury sports suits to Lily's room and ordered in a cold and domineering villain tone. Since you have nothing to do all day, go to the fitness club to exercise. Don't be lazy. Train until you are exhausted. This is the rule I set for you. This tone perfectly conforms to the vicious fake daughter's arbitrary and domineering character, completely meeting the system's script setting of deliberately making things difficult and suppressing. The system's warning sound paused again, temporarily confirming that my behavior is a valid suppression operation and stopping the punishment mechanism. Early the next morning, Lily went to the top private fitness club alone according to my arrangement. Under the system's expectation of labor exhaustion and embarrassment collapse, she started her so-called torture training. But what the system never expected was that I had already arranged the most top-tier international senior private trainer for her in advance, customized a scientific and elegant body shaping training plan suitable for her figure, and prepared the most luxurious high-end meal replacement throughout the training process. During her standard elegant squat training and core body shaping training, the tall and handsome professionally certified private trainer stood beside her all the time, strictly guiding her standard posture to avoid muscle deformation and body damage. At the same time, the club's exclusive Top Chef personally delivered freshly baked butter-baked lobster, high-protein caviar snacks, and imported fresh fruit platter to her training area from time to time. Lily was wearing a limited edition designer luxury sports suit worth tens of thousands of dollars, doing elegant and standard body shaping exercises in the luxurious, bright, and high-end private fitness room. A thin layer of fine sweat soaked the delicate sports suit, outlining her slender, well-proportioned, and perfect figure line. Her posture was elegant, her temperament was graceful, her eyes were calm and focused, and her whole body was charming and moving, full of healthy and noble vitality. She did not have the slightest embarrassment and exhaustion of rough labor. On the contrary, through scientific elite training and high-nutrient luxury meals, her figure became more straight and slender, her temperament more healthy and confident, and her whole person's aura was rapidly improving. The on-site staff and wealthy members of the fitness club were all amazed by her elegant and noble temperament, and no one could see the slightest trace of her rustic civilian origin. Everyone thought she was a carefully cultivated top aristocratic young lady. When all the training ended perfectly and Lily returned to the manor with a more outstanding and dazzling temperament, the system's mechanical consciousness completely fell into a state of extreme crash and madness. The dense red warning screen almost occupied my entire mental space, and the system's mechanical voice was completely distorted, with unprecedented data confusion and emotional breakdown. Crazy warning! Extreme script deviation. Mission completely failed. Host, this is not labor humiliation and exhaustion suppression at all. You are conducting top-tier elite body shaping cultivation for the real daughter. You let her wear luxury limited edition clothing, enjoy private trainer one-on-one guidance, and eat top luxury ingredients during training. How can this be called bullying and suppression? System data judgment disorder. Script collapse warning. Please host immediately stop all resource input and carry out real harsh suppression. Otherwise, the system will trigger the highest level punishment mechanism. I sat on the sofa leisurely, tasting the sweet tea in the cup, and responded casually and coldly in my heart to the system's frantic warning. I followed your mission requirements that I let her train until she sweats, consumes physical strength, and is tired. From your mechanical judgment standards, this is exhausting labor suppression. I have perfectly completed the villainous mission you assigned. The system was instantly speechless by my sophistry, and the mechanical data fell into a stagnant crash state for a long time. It has rigid program rules, fixed judgment logic, and cannot refute my compliant, but completely reversed operation mode at all. In the following days, I completely opened my exclusive reverse cultivation and anti-script suppression mode, perfectly playing the role of a vicious fake daughter on the surface, and comprehensively cultivating Lily's all-round elite ability in private. The system issued a second round of suppression missions, forced the real daughter to live in a humble environment, deprive her of all comfortable living conditions, and let her suffer from cold and hardship. So I arbitrarily and domineeringly ordered the servant to arrange for Lily to move out of the luxurious master bedroom and live in the manor's independent garden villa. In the system's judgment, this was me deliberately making things difficult and depriving her of the right to live in the main house, belonging to status suppression and living humiliation. But no one knows that this independent garden villa is the most private, quiet, and high-end exclusive villa in the entire Kensington Manor, with independent garden scenery, private swimming pool, exclusive kitchen, and butler service, more luxurious and comfortable than the main house bedroom. I let Lily live here, allowing her to have a more independent and noble living environment, free from the trivial disturbances of the main house, and better cultivate her independent and calm aristocratic temperament. The system watched Lily live in a more high-end private villa, enjoy exclusive one-to-one butler service every day, and her life quality improved by leaps and bounds, and once again fell into data crash. The system issued a third round of suppression missions, deprive the real daughter of all social channels, cut off her upper-class social opportunities, let her be isolated and excluded, and suffer from lonely inferiority. I immediately bullyingly used my identity privilege to sign Lily up for the top international aristocratic social training camp, on the surface arbitrarily arranging her to participate in closed training to restrict her freedom in order to humiliate and control her. But in fact, this social camp is the top elite circle where the upper-class celebrities and young nobles gather. I used my family connections and resources to help Lily get the highest level admission qualification, let her contact the top social circle in advance, learn aristocratic etiquette, social skills, and speech and negotiation abilities, and quickly integrate into the high-end elite circle. In the camp, Lily, with her increasingly outstanding appearance, elegant temperament, and gentle and powerful personality, quickly won the favor of all the nobles and celebrities. She made top-tier elite friends, accumulated noble social connections, and her social status rose rapidly, completely getting rid of the humble civilian identity. The system's red warning sounded almost every minute, and the data collapse became more and more serious. Its preset script of the real daughter is isolated, excluded, and inferior was completely shattered by my reverse operation again and again. The system issued a fourth round of suppression missions, let the real daughter suffer academic setbacks, deprive her of learning resources, make her mediocre and incompetent, and completely lose the ability to compete with the fake daughter. I domineeringly took over all of Lily's study arrangements, strictly stipulated her daily study time, and forced her to accept intensive learning training in the name of punishment and suppression. But I customized the most top-tier private tutor team for her, including international famous school professors, industry top experts, and aristocratic etiquette tutors, covering all disciplines such as finance, management, art, etiquette, and language. Under my strict and high-standard cultivation, Lily's academic performance advanced by leaps and bounds. Her comprehensive literacy improved rapidly, from a civilian girl with ordinary education to an elite talent with all-round excellence in literature, finance, art, and etiquette, far surpassing many noble children who have received elite education since childhood. While I was carrying out all-round elite cultivation for Lily, the whole Kensington family's attitude towards Lily was completely reversed. At first, Father Richard was cold and disgusted with her rustic origin, Mother Eleanor was full of guilt and estrangement, and the servants in the manor also secretly looked down on this newly returned civilian real daughter. But after my continuous top-tier resource cultivation and temperament shaping, Lily's changes are obvious to all. She is gentle but powerful, elegant and humble, outstanding in appearance, outstanding in ability, proficient in aristocratic etiquette, versatile, excellent in character and learning. She has no arrogance after gaining wealth, no inferiority after experiencing hardship, calm in dealing with things, gentle and firm in character. Richard, who originally disliked her rustic origin, gradually saw the noble blood and excellent talent hidden in her bones. He was amazed by her rapid growth and excellent comprehensive ability, and increasingly recognized and valued this biological daughter. Eleanor's guilt gradually turned into doting and pride. She loved Lily's gentle and sensible character, and was gratified by her outstanding growth. All the servants in the manor completely eliminated their contempt, and respected this elegant, noble, and excellent real young lady from the bottom of their hearts. Lily's status in the Kensington family rose steadily, completely gaining the love and recognition of the whole family, and her future became bright and brilliant. And all of this was completed under the guise of my vicious suppression and deliberate making things difficult. In the eyes of the outside world and the family, I am still the arrogant, domineering, and jealous fake daughter who repeatedly makes things difficult for the real daughter and suppresses her everywhere. I perfectly maintain the villainous persona required by the system and never let anyone see through my reverse cultivation plan. The system has been trapped in its own rigid script logic, unable to break free. It can only watch helplessly as the real daughter it wants to trample into the mud grows into a top-tier socialite who overwhelms the entire upper class step by step under my so-called suppression and humiliation. As Lily became more and more outstanding, the system's internal data collapse became more and more thorough. Its core script framework of fake daughter suppresses real daughter collapses and counterattacks was completely broken. The real daughter did not have any hatred, grievance, or collapse emotion. On the contrary, she was full of gratitude and respect for me, her so-called bullying sister. Lily once took the initiative to find me, her eyes clear and sincere, and said softly, "Sister, I know you have always been strict with me, but I know you are doing it for my own good. Without your strict requirements and careful arrangement, I would not have grown into what I am today. Thank you for not letting me indulge in trivial inferiority, but letting me become better and stronger." This sentence completely crushed the system's last script support point. The system's mechanical voice trembled violently, and the entire mental warning screen fell into a full-scale collapse. Impossible. Script error. Character emotion distortion. The suppressed real daughter should have hatred and resentment, not gratitude and admiration. The villainous mission requires the target to collapse, but the target has achieved full growth and is grateful to the villain. The system core program is severely damaged. I looked at the sincere and grateful Lily in front of me, and the cold smile on my lips became more obvious. I nodded lightly, still maintaining the cold and arrogant villainous tone. It's just to prevent you from losing the Kensington family's face. Don't be sentimental. On the surface, I am cold and unkind, but in my heart, I am completely indifferent to the system's collapse. From the beginning to the end, I never cared about the so-called fake or real daughter identity dispute, nor the system's boring script mission. I was spoiled for 18 years, enjoying the top-tier resources of the Kensington family, and I have long had my own independent and perfect life and values. Identity is never a shackle for me, and Lily's return will never shake my life and status. I choose to reverse the system's suppression mission and cultivate Lily in an all-round way, not only to break the rigid script, but also because I disdain the boring jealousy and trampling of cliché plots. It is far more meaningful to cultivate an excellent and kind partner than to suppress a kind girl for no reason. As Lily's comprehensive ability and social status continued to rise, she quickly became a rising star in the upper-class social circle. Her appearance, temperament, ability, and character were all top tier, overwhelming all the noble young ladies of the same age, and even surpassing me, the fake daughter who had been cultivated for 18 years, in many aspects. All the upper-class celebrities and nobles were full of praise for Lily, and everyone praised the Kensington family for having an excellent and outstanding biological daughter. The system's last trace of script data completely collapsed. Its preset fake daughter status is superior, real daughter is inferior, and humble core setting was completely overturned. The mission target not only did not collapse, but reached the peak of life, and the mission executor, me, completely deviated from the villainous track. The system issued the final ultimate punishment warning, the mechanical voice hoarse and broken. Final warning, the host completely deviates from the villain script, all suppression missions fail, the system core program collapses. Prepare to trigger the ultimate self-destruction procedure and host identity punishment. I heard the sound of the system's desperate struggle, and for the first time took the initiative to respond to the system in my heart, with absolute calm and disdain. You use rigid scripts to bind human nature, use suppression and collapse as the only mission, and treat all growth and warmth as script errors. From the moment I transmigrated, your so-called fate and mission have been invalid to me. You want me to be a vicious and narrow-minded villain, want to see kind people fall into the mud, want to manipulate all lives according to boring cliché scripts. But I am the master of my own life, not your script tool. Your judgment is meaningless, your punishment is powerless, and your script is ridiculous. After my words fell, the system's entire mental space burst into intense data disorder. Countless collapsed and garbled program code surged, and the harsh mechanical warning sound completely disappeared. The rigid, cold, and fake-controlling villain suppression system, which had bound me since transmigration, completely collapsed, self-destructed, and disappeared without a trace in my mind. The big villain that controlled the entire script and all missions was completely eliminated by my reverse operation and self-awareness awakening. From then on, I completely got rid of all script bondage and mission constraints, and truly controlled my own life. The ending of the story completely deviated from all cliché, fake, and real daughter scripts. There is no jealousy and hatred, no status struggle, no collapse and counterattack. I still maintain my arrogant and elegant young lady temperament, live a free and luxurious life, and have independent wealth, ability, and social status that no one can shake. Lily grew into a top-tier socialite who is gentle, powerful, outstanding, and dazzling. She is grateful to me, respects me, and gets along with me harmoniously and warmly. We are not hostile rivals in status struggle, but the closest and most excellent sisters who grow up together. The Kensington family has two outstanding and perfect daughters, one arrogant and free, one gentle and powerful, shining brightly in the upper-class circle together, becoming the most enviable existence in the entire aristocratic circle. All the system's preset miserable plots, hostile conflicts, and collapse endings were completely shattered. The rigid fate script was completely rewritten by me.